WAOH is brought to you in part by Ohio's #1 trusted real estate team, The Young Team. Online at theyoungteam.com.
Today I get to talk again with journalist Shay. She's going to be doing a weekly segment. We're so excited to have her. And I wanted to have her introduce herself a little bit more to you guys. We have had her on the show before, so you also could search and go back and check out her first interview that she did here on the show. But Shay, go ahead and tell people a little bit about yourself.
Well, hi, people.
Hi, people. Hi, Shay.
I'm Shay Davis. I'm Shayla Davis. I am a paralegal at the Okolo Law Firm. I am a freelance journalist celebrating 3 years this month.
Which is exciting.
Super excited. I've been in the game for 3 years. That's exciting. But I'm a paralegal and a journalist that just love the community.
Yeah, and I love that about you. You like to tie in different things that you do, which we all should do, you know, kind of take the things that we love or the work that we're doing and be able to tie them together to help and serve our community, which is something that I see you doing all the time.
Absolutely.
And so
I love
appreciate that about
both.
you.
Yes, it's so good to intertwine both, and it just aligns so well.
Yes, and you have a brand called Shay Too.
Yes, I do.
Where people can follow you online and they can keep up with the things that you're writing about and the things that you're doing in the community. So
I'm intertwining law and media. I'm trying to give people information from a paralegal perspective and a journalist perspective.
Yes.
So it's more so trying to educate than anything, you know.
Absolutely. And that's what you're doing here on Good Morning Akron. So
Yeah.
we're glad to have you. And so we're going to dive into our first topic,
All right.
which is Section 8 housing delays and federal rent relief.
Yes.
So can you just share with us a little bit about what's happening right now?
So we have programs that exist, and they're getting unorganized because it's a lot happening.
Right.
We have slumlords that's exfoliating their tenants right now. I have friends right now, personal friends, that's even facing eviction.
Right.
It's a lot with these organizations that, or even the housing management. It's many that's going on behind the scenes that people are really losing their housing over this type of thing. It's kind of scary to think about, but people don't know where to turn to when it comes to this type of stuff. Section 8, people been on a waiting list for probably like 10 plus years, if that.
Wow.
I didn't heard people say I've been waiting on Section 8 for 5 plus years. Every single day, I lie to you not, we are getting a case about housing and somebody is about to get evicted.
So let's go back to a little bit of these slumlords, because I've heard about this recently where unfortunately a lot of the landlords here in the Akron area are not good landlords.
Yeah.
There are some that are good. So shout out to them. If you are a good landlord that does what you're supposed to do, thank you so much, because you are very important. But there are a lot of landlords, so-called slumlords, that are not doing what they're supposed to. Families are forced to stay in these unsafe situations. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
And some of these families have children. People are facing medical because of these slumlords not coming to fix. I have a friend right now that's going through something personally with mold in her house. She ended up having mice in her house. It's a lot that was breaking down that these slumlords are just ignoring.
Right.
The city would come out and they will fail the inspections from the city and still don't want to do nothing about it. So we are having these tenants forced to live with their kids in these unsafe conditions.
Right.
That's not fair and it's not right.
No, it's not fair. So if someone is in that situation, what would you recommend to them? Because I know a lot of times, and this is the hard part, these families stay there because they don't feel like they have a way out, or maybe they don't have the financial resources to hire a lawyer.
They don't.
What do they do? Are there things that they can do, or are they just stuck?
It's not even about being stuck, because again, working at the Okolo Law Firm, we have cases every single day where somebody is trying to sue their landlord for not doing their part.
Right.
And that's one route you can take. You can go after these people. I mean, we done took down some people, actually management too, that they know they were in the wrong. Yeah, we have proof you were in the wrong, and they still would move or whatever, but they still got held accountable for that. So we got to have people speak up about that.
Right.
You got to hold these people accountable if you want to see some change in the community. And that's the main goal here. And people are starting to speak up because every single day somebody is facing an eviction notice. And it's sad.
It is.
And it's like these programs, they're getting overcrowded. It's kind of like A shelter is getting overcrowded. The shelters can't take people and their kids no more because they're on the streets. They're not even getting enough funding. Funding is getting cut off to even help these people get ahead. They can't even pay like 3 times the rent no more for people to just get on their feet. You know, they used to take people in and pay their rent up to months.
Right.
Just so they can get on their feet. They don't even have the funds to even support these people no more.
So we do have community programs that can help. I actually was recently hearing about one over in the Middlebury area of Akron. I know the CDC, I'll give a little shout out to them. I know that they work with housing. But I know, like you were even just saying, it's hard for people to know where to turn. Some of these programs are under-resourced or kind of, the information is scattered. So is there a way that if someone is stuck, if they feel stuck, that they can get this information? What would you recommend to them?
I would recommend them to try to continue to reach out. We have programs and we have churches that's willing to help people. We still got them in our community. That's okay. So it's not just you guys are stuck. It's just y'all just don't know. Reach out to these churches. We do have some churches that is willing to help, willing to pay bills, willing to try to keep you ahead. They even don't have enough funding to help everybody.
Oh, yeah.
But that's still an outlet that people can use, and they just don't know about that either. Or they could just call 211.
Yeah, 211 is a great resource. If you don't know about 211, it's an amazing resource, United Way. Yeah. And you can actually call and they will help you they'll help you direct you and help you to find the information that you need. And that would be my number one. 211 is a great resource. They give a lot of listing of things and people and places that can actually help you. And a lot of people just don't know. They uneducated on it, but I would definitely tell them 211. That's great. And what we could do is we could actually pull up a few resources and we could post them below this video.
Yes, absolutely. So that'll help the people out. Yeah.
All right. I love that. All right. We're going to go to our second topic, which is police reform. No federal movement. Local action is needed. I know you're passionate about this one.
Yeah.
So go ahead and can you share what is happening right now?
A lot is happening right now. If you watch the news, we got a bunch of riots going all over. Everybody is just trying to
protest. Most of them peaceful.
Very peaceful. Nothing really out the ordinary, violent or nothing. Very peaceful protests just to stand their ground on what they feel is right. Police brutality is all-time high in all communities, not just local communities, all communities. Even with events like the award show that just passed. They was outside the award show while they was taking with all them celebrities, and it was a lot going on. Honestly, Sarah, it's a gambling game. The laws is just not trying to cooperate with the people. That's my opinion. They're not trying to cooperate and hear us as to why we feel like this law should pass.
So there is actually a George Floyd Justice in Policing Act that you said it's kind of been stalled right now.
It has.
Can you explain a little bit more about that?
They've been stalling that out because they don't want to take accountability. And a lot of people are against police having the power that they have. Or the power
because
this would ban,
if you share with me, it would ban chokeholds. It would restrict qualified immunity, and it would increase accountability, which honestly all sounds like good things.
Exactly. Good things that
I don't know why
he held accountable for.
Yeah.
They don't want to, and that's what that bill is about. We want that bill to pass so we can still feel safer in our community. Without that bill passing, it just seemed like we're unsafe.
Right.
They can do all these things without getting in trouble. If we get that to pass, then we can hold that against them. At least get some type of accountability and use that against them so we don't have to continue to be or feel unsafe.
Now, here in Akron, there is a citizens, I may be getting the name of this wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe you don't even know about it, but there's like a citizens oversight committee for the police.
Yes.
And it is. Do you feel like that has helped Akron? Do you feel like it has done anything for Akron? Can you share a little bit
I feel like
about that?
it's a good step for Akron because it gives the people the voice to even talk about it.
Right.
Too. That's a good outlet for the people to come out and speak about how you feeling about the police brutality that's going on.
Right.
So I like the fact that we do have that in the community because they can hear us, they can see our emotions, and they can try to do something about it. So
Yeah.
I absolutely love the fact that we have that in our community.
Okay. Why does this matter, Shay?
It matters.
I know, I believe that it matters too, but why should this matter?
Lives matter.
Maybe the person, yes, absolutely. The person who hasn't done much research on police reform, why should it matter to them to kind of take a step forward and say, yes, I want to care about this?
2 words: accountability and justice. We have a lot of things and killings that's going on in the community, and nobody's getting justice for them. Unfortunately,
that's true.
That's why it matters. We need justice, and we need them to be held accountable for it. That's the main goal.
Yeah. I mean, there is some justice for some things, but not for everything.
Yeah, not everything.
And not nearly as much as needed, and not enough accountability when something is wrong,
Exactly. And that's really what we're pushing for, just accountability and justice. If you were wrong, you're wrong.
Right.
But just because you stand in a higher position, higher power, don't feel like you can tuck your tail and don't be held accountable for the stuff that you do.
Exactly.
You need to be held accountable too. Just like, I know people feel like they above the law, but it's like, no, let's bring you back down. Nobody's above the law.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you for sharing this. Hopefully it'll get the conversation started.
I love it.
For other people here in Akron, and maybe they'll have a conversation with their neighbor about one of these topics.
I hope so. Let's get it going. I hope we get these topics going, you guys.
All right. Thank you, Shay. Appreciate having you. Journalist
Thanks for having me
Shay here on the show today. Love having her. She's going to be doing this weekly, talking about topics where we can integrate both media and law. And so we're thankful for her perspective as a paralegal. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you here on Good Morning Akron.